This is the Sony A7C II, and I picked it up after one too many trips where I left my bigger camera in the hotel because it was just too much to carry. I wanted something full frame that would actually come with me every day, not just on planned shoots. After a month of real use, it has definitely lived in my bag, and that alone changed how often I shoot. I would place this camera in that sweet spot between compact and serious. It is a full-frame body with grown-up features, but it does not feel like a brick. It is aimed at people who shoot both photos and video, want strong autofocus, want clean color, and care about weight. It is not the cheapest option out there, and it is not the most expensive either. If you are the type who wants effortless results without hauling a huge body and a giant grip, this is the one that makes sense. Out in the real world, the reason I keep reaching for it is simple. It is small and it focuses like it can read my mind. I walk around the city a lot. I shoot friends, family, food spots, and street scenes. I let the camera find faces and eyes, and it just locks on and stays there. I shot a friend crossing a busy street at dusk. There were cars, reflections, signs. The camera grabbed the eye and kept it sharp through the whole sequence. With older bodies, I would be nudging the focus point or losing it to background contrast. Here, I tap the subject and start shooting. It tracks even when someone turns around or gets briefly blocked by a passerby. That frees me to think about timing and framing instead of wrestling the focus point. For video, I have been impressed by how clean the footage looks. 4K up to 30 frames per second is crisp and detailed. Skin tones look more natural than older Sony bodies I have used. I like that I can record 10-bit footage because grades hold together better. Blue skies and shadowy corners do not break apart the way 8-bit files sometimes do. I am not trying to make this technical. I just see fewer ugly banding issues when I push the color. When I switch to 4K at 60 frames per second for slow motion, there is a crop. That matters when I film myself at arm's length. With a 20mm lens, the view goes from super wide to more of a normal wide. I still use it, I just plan my lens choice around it. Stabilization has been very usable. The in-body system smooths my slow handheld shots, and the active stabilization mode adds a little extra smoothing if I am walking. It crops a tiny bit to do that, so I save it for clips where I am moving. It will not replace a gimbal if you want that floaty look, but it takes the edge off enough that I can leave extra gear at home. There are a few things that are not perfect, and they do affect how I use it. The electronic viewfinder is on the small side. It works fine in bright sun, but it does not feel immersive, and manual focus checking is not as easy as on bigger bodies. The grip is shallow for my hands. My pinky hangs off the bottom, and with heavier zooms, the setup feels front-heavy. I fixed it with a small base plate that adds a bit of height. That made a big difference, but it adds cost and weight. Also, there is one secure digital card slot. For personal projects and travel, that is fine. For paid shoots where I want instant backup, I prefer bodies with 2 card slots. That is a real dividing line. Heat has been fine for my style of shooting, which is lots of short clips with breaks. In a warm room recording 4K at 60 frames per second, I did see a heat warning after maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Setting the camera to the higher auto power off temperature helped, opening the screen helped, and shooting at 4K 30 basically eliminated the issue for my use. If you plan to record an hour straight of 4K at 60, this is not the body I would choose. For vlogs, travel videos, interviews under 4K 30, and B-roll, it has been solid. Compared to what I used before, the upgrade is obvious. I came from the Sony A7 III, and later the original Sony A7C. The jump in color and 10-bit video alone is worth it. The autofocus is smarter and needs less babysitting. The new menu system is easier to navigate. I appreciate the front command dial for exposure control, which fixes my biggest gripe with the original Sony A7C. Also, the tracking in this camera feels like a different generation. With the older bodies, I often had to pre-select face or eye and keep the subject facing me. Here, it holds on to people even when they turn away or are partially blocked. It feels like the camera is helping me, not fighting me. Against more expensive bodies like the Sony A7 IV or the Sony A7 R5, this one is about trade-offs. Those cameras give you a bigger viewfinder, a deeper grip, and in some cases dual card slots and beefier bodies that run cooler for long takes. They also weigh more, and I feel that weight by the end of a day. Image quality between this and the Sony A7 IV is close enough that most people would never spot the difference in normal use. The pricier high-resolution options are amazing for studio, landscapes, or huge crops, but I do not miss those pixels when I am traveling light. I do miss the bigger viewfinder and the second card slot sometimes. I just accept that this camera is built to be compact first, and that is why I reach for it. There are a couple of quirks to know. Silent electronic shutter is useful, but if you pan quickly or shoot fast action, you may see that wobbly rolling effect. I switched to the mechanical shutter with the electronic front curtain for those situations, and it looks normal. The high-definition multimedia interface port is the small micro size. I am gentle with cables, or I use a cage to protect that port. Battery life is good, but not endless. I carry a small power bank and plug in through the universal serial bus Type-C port when I need to top up. The camera can run while charging, which is great on long days. The main benefits that kept me happy are simple. I take it everywhere because it is compact, and that means I actually get more photos and more clips. I trust the autofocus, so I nail moments I would have missed while fiddling. And the video files hold up when I grade them, which makes my travel edits look cleaner with less work. That combination is what makes it worth it for me. As for value, I think it is worth buying if you care about portability and you want a camera that helps more than it gets in the way. If you are a wedding or event pro who needs 2 card slots and long, continuous 4K at 60 without worrying about heat, this is better as a second body. If you are a traveler, a street shooter, a parent, or a hybrid creator who needs one small camera that does almost everything well and quietly, this makes a lot of sense. I am happy with it, I am keeping it, and it has made me shoot more. That is the highest praise I can give any camera. If you have questions I did not cover, drop them in the comments. Tell me what you want me to test next, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.